In this daily drop, I'm going to talk about 3 essential things I think you should be keeping in mind when you are looking for and onboarding freelancers or independent contractors for your productions. So let's go. All right, everybody, last episode of the week. And while I have a lot of work left to do here in the barn, it's time to talk a little bit about producing. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm producing for this upcoming production the week of May 13th. It is an on-location production in the middle of literally nowhere in Texas. And it got me thinking that we need to talk a little bit about onboarding, contracting freelancers that are going to be, or crewing your production, that are going to be part of your production. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to talk about number 1, referrals. That is secret weapon stuff. It is you're going to a location you've never been to and you are looking to crew a production. No matter how small or large the production is, you've got to find good people to work with. Now, there are people that I have been working with at this point for 10, 15, 20 years. Some of them even longer than that. And most of the people that I have found over the years for the productions that I do have come by way of referrals. If I'm going to a new location for a production and I'm trying to figure out and find the right crew for that production, I'm going to reach out to the people that I've worked with in the past first and foremost, not just as a possibility to have them be part of the production, but also to find new people. Because sometimes in terms of budget, logistics, things like that, it's not feasible to hire the people that you want to hire because the costs associated with getting them from, place A, where they are based, to place B is just not feasible from a production standpoint. It's doable if there's unlimited budgets, but it's just not always the way. So we're going to talk about this. The first thing is get referrals. Find out names, contact numbers, email addresses of people you can reach out to that other people you've worked with have worked with. And that is usually the best way to find the right kind of people for your production. Now, little secret here on advice number 1. If you can work it into your budget, try to have at least one person on that production that you have history with, that you have worked with, because you want that person on your team. You're going to be working with a lot of new people, and that doesn't mean that you silo with the person that you've worked with. It just means that you have somebody there who understands how you work, you understand how they work, and that is always, for me, a little bit of a secret weapon when I am doing productions for clients. And clients like to see familiar faces when they come back to a production. I have this production coming up in Texas, and there is one person coming onto that production that I have worked with for at least 10 or 15 years. And it's somebody that the client has had contact with. I actually reached out to 3 different people. One of them was available. Any one of those 3 people would be somebody that the client knew of or had worked with, and also somebody I have worked with for many, many years. So that's number 1. Get referrals, find great crew, right? Number 2 on this list of mine is put together and make sure you have an independent contractor agreement with the people that you're crewing. Okay, this is a big subject. I'm not going to get into it in totality, but this is essentially your contract with that freelancer, right? You're not hiring them as an employee. You are contracting them for certain types of services. And whether they're a director of photography, they're a camera assistant, they are a sound recordist, a hair and makeup artist, whatever it is that they are doing on a production, you need to have something in writing with that person that basically states the period of time that they're going to be contracted, the services that they are going to be rendering in terms of that agreement, something related to how long the days are going to be, and also, of course, what the rate's going to be and the exchange, right? That's really, really important. And then there may be some language in there where there's some non-compete. There's some stuff that trickles down from your agreement with the client. Maybe they have a contract with you, and there's certain things that you have to keep confidential. You trickle that down into your independent contractor agreement, because ultimately it all comes down to you, the producer. So you need to make sure that everybody else who is going to be part of that production is also agreeing to certain things, so that you are protecting your company, you're protecting the client, so on and so forth. The only other thing I'll say about that independent contractor agreement is make it fair. It shouldn't be one-sided. It has to work for both you as a company and for the freelancer or contractor. So that's really, really important. This one, number 3, this is the one to lean into. Pay your crew fast. Quickly, very quickly. I have worked very, very hard over the years to work with my clients in terms of budgeting and payment schedules to make sure that I'm getting at least, but hopefully more, the production costs up front. Because when you show up for a production, there are a lot of moving parts and money is going to get spent. So you need to be prepared for that. And part of that might be also obtaining and getting equipment. You've got to get hard drives. You have to get a rental. You might have to hire, whatever it is that you need for your production, you need to have those funds available. I don't know about you, but I'm not a huge company. I can't float productions that are just coming up and say, you know what, it's 20 grand, I'll just pay it now. I understand you're an agency, net 90, and I'll just figure it out. No, that's not going to be sustainable for most people who are producers. It may be at the very, very highest level where there's lots and lots of money available, but I've seen it even in those situations where there's everybody's sort of moving chess pieces around to make it work. That's not a good analogy. It's a horrible analogy, but you get the basic idea. It's just sort of like, you're moving things around. Well, if you have the funds for your production before you start production, then it takes a huge weight off of your shoulders as a producer. And it means that when you're done with production, you can pay crew immediately. And that means so much. Part of the reason, not just the working relationship, but part of the reason that crews become available to me over the years, I can get people to come onto projects, is because I pay quickly. And that's not the only part of the equation, but it is more than appreciated by people, especially in today's economy, to get paid quickly for the work that they're doing, right? They're going to outlay their own money. Maybe they have to book their own flights. Maybe they have to, pay for this or that or a piece of equipment, whatever it's going to be. So if you can pay them quickly, it's going to make a huge difference. So those are my 3 things today that I wanted to talk to from a producer standpoint. Get referrals for crew that you're going to contract. Have an independent contractor agreement that is the black and white, this is what we're doing together for the production. And then number 3, you definitely want to work it out. And this is a client side thing more than anything else, that you have funds available so you can actually pay for the production and pay your crew quickly. That's what I got for you. Don't forget to. And I'll see you on the next episode of The Daily Drop.